All right, guys, welcome back to another episode with the Loose Cannons. So 2-0, 6 points. Not much more to ask from, but also got a new member here, Jose, for the first time coming on the podcast. So Jose, want to
What's going
introduce
on,
yourself?
guys? What's going on, guys? I've been an Arsenal fan since 2012. Um, I discovered them watching a Premier League game randomly, and ever since then, I've fell in love with the culture of the club, the way that we play the Arsenal way, the chants, the jerseys, the stadium, pretty much everything about Arsenal. It's a beautiful club, and I'm glad to be an Arsenal fan. I'm glad to be a Gunner.
Well, Jose, glad to have you here. I see you're joining us from the Diamond Club today, spending £1 million a year. So,
I had to. I had
The
to.
10-year membership.
yeah. But I'll be honest, I'm vouching for Jose here. When I first met him, all we talked about was Arsenal. We met at work randomly, and it was just Arsenal, Arsenal, Arsenal. So for him to just randomly pick a club, he's got passion and dedication for the club. Trust me.
Definitely,
That's
man. I
it.
love
That's what we
Arsenal.
love.
So let's
So
talk about this game.
let's get right into it. So, not an easy game. Looking at the stats, Palace, I think were undefeated their last five Premier League home games going into it. So, a task at hand that
Never
we
easy.
knew was going to be a tough away game at Palace. And like we said, it's almost, we're going to say similar stuff to last week because, it was an ugly win, but we came out with 3 points. That, early on the season, if you look at the table right now, there's only 3 teams with 6 points. That's it. Out of 20 teams, only 3 teams won their first 2 games. So, you know, even though we're winning games just by 1 goal, 3 points are 3 points. The same thing. I do think we need to improve on it. 36 games left, but you get the points and you move forward. We got to learn, and I think a big discussion here is going to be scoring goals. You know,
Yeah. So I think personally, like you said, another ugly win. But the way we held on there at that end with not 11 men against us, 12, because that red card was undeserved, in my opinion. And I think the opinions of not just Arsenal fans, but the casual, fair weather football fan as well. I think that was insane resilience by the team. Like you said, finishing, we'll touch on that in a couple of minutes here. But the main thing is the 3 points, and that really showed a championship type of desire to win that game, I think.
that was, watching those last 20 minutes is just, I just couldn't, it was hard to watch the screen. And then 90 minutes come and then you see +7 come up and it's just like the longest 7 minutes ever. And I mean, but let's go back to the red card. So the first yellow on Tomiyasu was the throwing for delaying the game, the delay game. But when you rewatch it, it's almost, you can only blame Tomiyasu so much because Havertz has the ball for about 7-8 seconds. Then Tomiyasu comes over, he gives him the ball. So about 8 seconds go by. Then Tomiyasu gets it. Then he does take another. It's not like he just gets it and throws it and takes another like 5 seconds or so. Then he throws it, whistle, yellow card. So Jose, what do you think about that? You think that should have been a yellow?
I could see what the referee was trying to do. There is a little bit of time wasting, and in this beautiful game, any sort of time wasting, they've really cranked down on that now, the FA, where it's like it's not tolerable and it's always going to end up being a yellow card. Like you could see Havertz in the 90+4, he kicked the ball after Arsenal had he was off sides and then he kicked the ball away. He got a yellow card for time wasting. The referees just they don't play in that area anymore. I kind of agree with it, but I just think it's kind of like a harsh yellow card, but I could see what the referee wanted to do.
Yeah,
Like,
I totally agree. I mean, if you look at the total time, I mean, even put yourself in Palace's shoes. I mean, you know, obviously you're upset. The fans are upset. A card should have been given. I mean, who should have been given two? could be questionable. But I mean, obviously looking, 8 seconds, another 5, 6, 7 seconds, it's almost 15, 20 seconds to throw. And it is kind of ridiculous. I think it's almost just unfortunate that it ended up in Tomiyasu's hands. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's almost 20 seconds that you're wasting. Fans are going to get upset, the refs don't, they're going to pull out the card.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Go on, Jose.
Sorry. Again, it's unfortunate that he got the yellow card, but what really got under my skin was the second yellow card. It was almost like, you know, I think it was Ayu. He Tamiyasu kind of, you can see what he's doing, but he's kind of turning around in a natural way and his arms in a natural way. I just don't see how that's a yellow card, like a second yellow. And now Tamiyasu, we can't get a reverse because it was a second yellow. If it would have been a straight red, then we could get a reverse. But now that's a second yellow, Tamiyasu is going to miss the game against Fulham.
Yeah, it's shortening our options there at the back again with Timber out now. At least we have Zinchenko back. So hopefully he's fit enough. I think jumping ahead here, Tierney should start at the left back just in terms of fitness. But second yellow, like you were saying, very harsh. He was just turning around. He reached his hand out, unfortunately. The angle of the ref, there's no VAR there. It's just angles. It's like Kobe said he would study different angles of how the refs would see the game, try to trick him. So it's unfortunate there.
I do like one thing that they did. The referee was solid in the penalty call when Eze went down. When Party barely stuck his leg out, and you could see
Yeah.
Party's trying to take his leg away. Very good call because last year I feel like that would have been a penalty with VAR. They would have called that. Taking us back to when we played Wolves. I know Giuseppe remembers that game. We watched it live together, and we were furious because there was barely any contact, and it ended up being a penalty. But referee had some good calls and he had some bad calls. So.
Yeah, that's very true. You look at that play. I believe that's a play where I think Rice was kind of right next to him, and he caught Rice, and then Partey was like I mean, he definitely, it was like a little contact, but it was like he didn't like go in too much. It really wasn't a foul. It really was, like you even see players making like the diving.
Yeah.
It really wasn't too. It was not a penalty. I mean, I could have also seen another ref call it though. Just the way like the penalties have been called, like if it was called, I wouldn't have been surprised. Just the way just the game goes and different referees. But I do think that one that shouldn't be. But I'm just glad with the ref we had that day, it just wasn't called and it went our way, and that helped us get 3 points. So, but it's something that we have to be careful of too. And it was a good play. Rice has been, I mean, in that. In the sixth position, phenomenal coming back defensively, making tackles, winning the ball. And that is one time he got caught a little bit, but even getting caught there, nothing came out of it still. So we had backup. And I think that, at the end of the day, like we always say, that's something that Arteta, always preaches, is that having his players get behind the ball. So just going off that a little bit just got me thinking. Partey again. I mean, we said it. I mean, not our starting 11s. When will they be right? Partey at right back again. But I think the biggest surprise for me was, Gabriel starts, 38 games last year. I believe he started. I know he played in 38 games last year, but not starting today was, I think a little shocking for me. But that ultimate decision came from, I think, putting Partey at right back, and he slipped Ben White in the starting position, and Saliba was going to start. So that slipped Gabriel, right out of the starting position.
Yeah.
Arteta's really trying to cook up that 3-2-2-3, and that really puts Partey as another center mid with Rice there, and you got to kind of Gabriel's going to be the odd man out because White he's good at center back as well. He's not going to get caught. Tomiyasu, he's better at playing the left side. So you see Partey come in. He's great defensively. So if he's sitting back there, it's nice. You saw him clearing the ball. You saw him making some nice tackles. He was definitely a presence on the field. But it's a shame when you got a guy like Gabriel just sitting there on the bench. We have a couple guys that shouldn't be sitting on the bench, but you know, like we talked about earlier in other podcasts, you need to have your bench be very deep to go on these runs. So
Yeah,
Jose,
Yeah,
I agree. I agree with him. It's a shame that Gabriel didn't start. Um, I know there was a lot of rumors. 2 games. He hasn't started. There was a lot of rumors because there were rumors from Saudi Arabian club that wanted to buy him, and also Real Madrid. Apparently, there was a rumor. I don't know how true the Real Madrid one is, but I know the Saudi Arabian club they were actually interested. I like that Arteta made it clear that Gabriel he's not for sale. Gabriel's not for sale, and I as an Arsenal fan that makes me very happy. Like maybe Gabriel won't start, but he's not for sale. So Arteta clearly knows that he's still worth something. So it's good news. And about Thomas Partey, yeah, I mean Arteta's he's trying to play the three back. He's trying to play attacking football. I mean, listen, if he can make it work, I think why not? We have to trust Arteta. He's been a good manager so far, and they're getting stuff done. So we just have to trust the manager.
yeah. And like when you watch the game, go by, you see Partey, he shifts in almost to like in front of the center back sometimes and goes in because he's able to, and he can play the position, but from a right back, he'll go and slide in front of the center backs almost as where he would be as a CDM and receive the ball and move the ball around. That could be, something that Arteta wanted, in his plans. He knows that maybe take a little less, without, building up from the back and have, more people in the center of the park to receive the ball and move the ball around. That could be something he wants to, but you see that Partey kind of shifting into the middle too, even though he is outside back. And you see that from even well, especially with like Zinchenko, that players like that just love to find their ways. If they see open space and they could get in there to get move the ball around, they'll go into the center of the park to receive the ball and move it around and complete the switch if they need to. But that is something new. I kind of think, especially taking the width away from the outside backs attacking like that. But we could see switches in the next game as well. You never know. Ben White could be starting at right back and we could do something else.
I mean, it's like a chess match almost. You kind of want to. It's better to control the middle than to take the outside sometimes.
Yeah. You could definitely tell Arteta is also trying to buy players that can invert into that, left back into CDM position. You can see, for example, Timber. Um, the debut that he was even the preseason games he was all over the pitch. So you could definitely tell Arteta's a fan of that, and it's unfortunate that Timber got injured. But like you said, like Kenny said, Party I think does a good job at doing that, coming from right back, and then you'll see him almost playing CDM, and that allows Rice and Odegaard to really link up. You know, I, I think if you give it time, it works. I know some Arsenal fans are like, "What is Arteta doing? Like, this experiment's gonna kill us. Like, we're gonna keep." Obviously it was an ugly win, but at the end of the day, it's 3 points. And you got to let Arteta work.
Got to trust the process. And it's been several years now, but I think, especially after last season, everyone's completely sold on the process that Arteta is trying to instill in this team, the culture that he brings around. I mean, he bought a dog and he named them a win, which is, I thought was awesome. I mean, the atmosphere that just creates when you have, first of all, a dog just brings the energy up for players that love dogs, and its name is Win. So it's just shows the culture that he wants in the locker room, in the stadium, and around. I mean, you see all the new transfers, they come in, they meet the dog and stuff, so they know right away what the culture is. And you could see in the locker rooms, all his pregame talks, everything that Arteta has going on. Just the culture has shifted, and we're trusting the process, and we're seeing results. And after last season, this season, there's only we got to go up one spot to win the league. We're not finishing outside the top 4 anymore. We finished second. Now it's time to get first.
But I think with that, that's definitely our goal. But we need to get our goal differential up.
Yeah.
So with a robot like Erling Haaland, the Viking, it's it's tough to compete. But obviously, points are going to matter. But what's going to get you the points is the goals. But we'll talk about Eddie, I guess. Eddie, if you take out finishing from his game, I think that was a man of the match worthy performance. Very
Yeah.
intelligent,
He hit the
very
post too.
aggressive. He did hit the post, and he did have another pretty nice shot on target or two. But that's my only problem with him is the finishing. But other than that, that penalty that we got was because of him. He was smart enough to take that little touch out of the way, and the goalie was fully committed, and that was it. That's a penalty all day. Eddie, it wasn't just that. When we were down a man, him taking these fouls, getting fouled, wasting time for us. It got us breathers. It got us subs. It was very intelligent. I love that game from him. Aside from the finishing,
Yeah. Eddie, very like you said, man of the match worthy. I think honestly, he's great display of strength. You know, he held back two defenders from Crystal Palace. He hit the post. Unfortunately, would have been a great goal, to be honest. Unfortunately, he hit the post again. Like you said, very cheeky on the touch. You can see what he's doing too. Like you can see that he's trying to bait him to come out. Soon as Johnson comes out, sticks his arm out, foul, clear penalty. And for me, Eddie, it's just the finishing product. That's really all it is. I remember last year, Giuseppe's a witness. I really was not a fan of Eddie, but this year he looks like he wants to do more for the club, and he looks like a different player. He
yeah.
looks better, stronger, better on the ball, better decision making. But it's just that clinical finish, man. He's got to be a little bit more clinical. If he can really do that, listen, I think he can be one of the best strikers in the world. A lot of people will probably be like, "You're insane," but if he can really nail the clinical finishing, one of the world's best.
As you would say, he needs the ice in the veins. That's
Exactly.
it.
Yep. Yep. He needs to be cold,
Yeah.
He's got to be cold. But like you're saying, Jose, I mean, you just look at Eddie. He's just bigger, faster, stronger. His play is just more intelligent. Like Giuseppe said, he's taking these smart fouls at the end of the game that it's slowing down the game. It's wasting a little bit of time, and just his whole overall play too. Like we even said, where he's just it's just when he's up top, it's like nonstop. Even when the goalie has the ball, he's sprinting at the goalie, forcing him to move the ball quickly, making a mistake, which he did in the other game. And it pays off. Just like you said, the penalty kick came from Eddie. Had a smart touch. He got fouled. Boom. And it's one of those games where he does a lot of stuff. And he has his critics where he just didn't score. That's all they'll say is that he didn't score. But when you look at the game and you look at everything that went down, you see the plays that he was involved in, everything that he did. He had a good game. I think that he had a good game. Yes, he didn't finish. Okay, we needed him to score. He hit the post. But if he scores one goal that game, all the talk is totally different. Everyone's on his side. They're behind him. Then he don't score. Everyone, it's he didn't score this
Yeah.
and that. But he did his job. And I'm also happy on the part that Odegaard got the goal, especially after just the way he's just performs is just incredible. I'm happy he got on the stat sheet after 2 games in the league already.
That was a cold penalty finish. If we're going to talk about cold finishes,
Odegaard
Yeah,
definitely had
definitely.
ice in his veins.
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
You can say that.
Very, very cheeky penalty. It's almost like he waited for him to just twitch, and then he just picked the side. Goalie just all over the place, very confident. And I want to make another point as well. We got to give it for Saka. Honestly, what a player. Obviously we know he's our star boy. People are probably rolling their eyes like, well, obviously it's Saka. But the work rate that he shows along with Martinelli, you gotta give him that credit, man. Like honest, especially also Declan Rice. What a player, honestly. Players that they lose the ball, they're right on you. You know what I mean? Like, and it's definitely like that's the type of players that we need at Arsenal. Like, and Eddie shows that as well. It's like a dog mentality. Like you lose the ball or you want it, pressure, pressure, pressure. It's like there was moments in the game where Eze was just completely taken out of the game. He would get the ball. Declan Rice was on him. Odegaard was there. Like there was like three players on him, and honestly, you love to see it.
And if we're gonna talk about this, I want to bring up one point that I was talking a little bit with Kenny before after last game. How you see Martinelli, not just with these 1 second, not just with this pressure during the play, but with this, these little slaps and stuff off the play, and it
You
just
love
gets in
it.
their heads.
You love it.
But yeah, like you said, that pressure from when we lose the ball, get it right back. That's it. We want the ball. We're playing the game with the ball. We're going to possess. And unfortunately, since we're not scoring a lot of goals, we have a lot of unsung heroes. That's how it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you have the unsung heroes too. And just going back a little bit, just thinking about that game, I think another key point of the game, which made a huge difference, this falls under Arteta, were the substitutions that were made. And one of them, when you look at it, Gabriel, he doesn't start, but then he gets subbed in late in the game, and you just see the energy that he brings. It wasn't like he was upset he wasn't starting. He was powder. I mean, he came in the game. The second he walked in the game was like he played the whole entire game. Like he started up and played until that point. That was the energy he brought on, coming from the bench, knowing that we were a man down, needed to defend. We were getting constant pressure, attack right at us. And that's something you'll love to see too. When a player doesn't start, and a lot of players would be upset, get frustrated, not even want to play. But he came right in the first second, and he played like he played the entire game, and that's what you'll love. That he gets his minutes in, and all the subs that I think came in all made a big difference. Zinchenko, getting a couple minutes in.
He's
You
just
got a
brilliant,
job.
man.
You got to hold down the fort. And like we were talking about, it's part of the culture that you come in and you're not upset. You have a job to do. 90 minutes isn't up. 97 minutes isn't up. You finish it.
Also going back on that, I like the way Arsenal really played as a unit defensively. I think they were very firm. I don't think Crystal Palace really got any, after the red card came, maybe a chance or two, but it wasn't anything like, you know, dramatic where, I was a little worried, but, you know, again, the defense, they seem like they're playing as a unit now. It seems like, you could go maybe a year or two ago and we would have conceded. Crystal
Yeah,
Palace would have tied, but I think it was very solid. And I think when we had the ball, instead of just kicking it up, we'd play it back to Ramsdale, then we'd play out. We killed almost 6 minutes of the clock just passing the ball around, and I was like, that brilliant. It just shows the matureness of the players, and they know what they're doing. They know how to finish off a game. You know, you love to see it. Just like Kenny says.
and I think that going back to what you said, one major, and there was a time where we were just, once again, those like last 10-15 minutes, it was balls being played in, and we would get it, we'd kick it out, then we sit back, then we couldn't possess the ball, and it was hard to watch. Then one specific substitution, Jorginho came in, and this was in, I believe, after the 90th minute, in those plus 7 minutes, and for about 4 or 5 minutes at the end of the game, we were just passing around. Jorginho came in, he controlled the middle of the field. We're a man down. There's only a couple minutes left. They're going to be attacking. And he was moving the ball around, and that killed, about 4 or 5 minutes on a lot of attacks. And also, Jose, you mentioned that they really didn't have any good chances. And I would agree. I don't think they had any clear shot chances. And I think that as a unit, 2 years ago could have been different, but now we're so strong and firm. The only one defensive part where I think that we kind of lacked in our game, where I kind of felt some danger coming and they possibly to score a goal, were the crosses that Palace got in. And I think that there were times where they got down the sideline, they put in dangerous crosses, and we cleared them all, but we struggled. I mean, there were a couple times Ramsdale had to come out and just to make sure no one else hit it. They had some dangerous crosses in the box that I think if they kind of had, you know, a better striker or just someone there at the right moment, it could have gone differently for them. But I mean, like I said, we were a little shaky on some of those crosses to get out. Was a little nerve wracking watching the ball bounce in our box like that, but we did get it out. But besides those dangerous crosses, I mean, not many clear shot chances that I thought that they had. I thought, center of the field, we were pretty strong. We didn't allow anyone to come down the field, cut in, take advantage of us. We were stepping to the ball. So I thought we did a very good job of that.
There was one which I thought was a little shaky until I saw the replay. Ramsdale decided to be a little more aggressive, came out, parried the ball, and then they just shanked it over the crossbar. But looking at the replay, we had about 7 guys on the goal line. So nothing, and 2 more in front plus Ramsdale. So I think we were fine there.
I think I remember the play that you're talking about. I think that might have been Mitchell. It was like a lefty volley he had.
He skied it.
Yeah, it was a volley.
He just skied it. But yeah, I remember we had players on the line too. But those were just some moments, maybe another player doesn't just try to volley it. He does something else differently. But at the end of the day, it all worked out.
Yeah. Like we say, an ugly win, still 3 points.
An ugly win, but we get 3 points. And now looking next, Fulham, we're back at home, back at the Emirates. We got to get another 3 points.
Yeah.
At the top of the table, it's us, City, and Brighton with 2 wins with 6 points. So we got to keep it going.
Definitely. So
I like that we're at home.
Yeah. It's definitely going to bring a nice atmosphere, especially after a grueling game like that. It's going to be nice to have the fans on our side. And I'll be honest, listening to the stream, it sounded like a home game. If I was just listening to the game and I didn't know where they were, I would think they were at the Emirates.
They always sound like home games. We have the best fans in the league. We have the best fans in the league.
That's
you always hear the chants. You always hear the chants.
But now instead of having 15,000 fans, we have closer to 60.
Yeah, very true. And I think playing Fulham at home, trying to get a 3rd straight win, we need to score more goals, like we talked about earlier. And I think a lot of this is going to come down to we've been getting opportunities, but we really need to finish them. Like we said, we're hitting the post multiple times, and in the past few games, and we need to score. We need those opportunities. We need to finish in the back of the net. Like I just remembered at the one time, I believe it was Eddie, where we had a good build-up play, and I think he tried to chip the keeper, and it was not a good chip, and it went over. But that's just another opportunity that came to my head that we could have had. We just could have gone differently. But the opportunities are going to come with the playmakers that we have. You have Martinelli and Saka on the sides, Odegaard, Havertz, Rice with the build-up play. Whoever is playing at striker, if it's Eddie or your Trossard comes in, the build-up's going to be there. The flow of the play is going to be there. We're going to move the ball up the field. We're going to have possession in the attacking third. We're going to move the ball around inside their box. It's going to come. At home against Fulham, we got to put up multiple goals. We have to put up multiple goals.
Yeah. Fulham's a team that I know Arsenal has this issue where they'll just keep going at the team that they're playing against, attacking, and then they concede. If Fulham scores, you know what they're gonna do. They're gonna sit back. So like Kenny said, we got to get there, score early. Put the game to bed as well. I know that sometimes we keep it 1-0. 1-0 is a very dangerous scoreline. Even 2-0 sometimes. You don't want Fulham to have any opportunity of thinking they could come back. I think we should go dominate the game, put them to bed 3-0. You know, Fulham is a dangerous team. They're like either they're gonna come and ball up or they're just gonna sit back. You know, but we can't take any risks. We're at home, gotta win the game. 3-0, man.
We keep saying they got to score, they got to score, they got to score. Let's take this pressure off of them. Maybe they're listening to us.
Yeah. And at the other end, like I was talking to Giuseppe after the game. Yeah, an ugly one nil, but never ever take away an away clean sheet. I'll take that any day of the week. Take that any day of the week. Look at our back line. We're defending well too. Like we just been talking around about being like a unit defending together. An away clean sheet. Give that to Ramsdale. No kudos to our back line, our midfield, and the whole team. That was nice to see an away clean sheet because that's not easy in the Premier League. It's not easy to go away from home, win a game, and have a clean sheet. But now, hopefully, back-to-back clean sheets is what we're looking for. Would be very nice. So I think getting towards the end here, you guys want to talk about our preferred starting lineups. It's been rough. We haven't been correct yet.
Let's start with the newcomer Jose then.
I think he'll do the same lineup again. Obviously, Tomiyasu won't be playing. I think he might go with left back. I want to say Zinchenko. He's not liking Tierney too much. I haven't seen Tierney start. I don't know why. He's not even on the bench sometimes. I'm going to say Zinchenko left back. I'm going to say he's going to start. I think it'll be Gabriel Saliba, and then I think we'll see Ben White on the right back, and then we'll see Thomas Partey, Rice, and I think he'll play Odegaard. Then for striker, he'll play Eddie again. I don't think he's gonna give Balogun a chance. Obviously left wing, Martinelli, and right wing Saka. Also, I think there was rumors about Pepe getting like another chance. So it'd be very interesting if we can maybe see Pepe as a substitute. Like I was thinking about it. Eddie got some chances. He's gotten chances. Why do I think Pepe should get one more? When he played, the team was kind of in a really bad spell. We know those dark days. And I think Pepe deserves that one chance. I'd like to see him come in. And I also would like to see Smith Rowe come in as well.
And who starts in goal? Ramsdale or Raya?
Ramsdale, man. It's just after that performance, he looks good, man. He looks good.
Yeah. He needs that little fire under him sometimes, I guess. Everyone does, not just him personally.
Giuseppe, want to go?
I guess so. I'll go with Ramsdale on that. Jose does have a point. Arteta is seeming like he's trying to phase out Tierney. Now, my only thing is with Tomiyasu out, even with Tomiyasu last time, I don't know why he didn't start Zinchenko. Is it his fitness? What is it?
I think it is. He was coming off injury, so give him some time.
I think it could be. I'm gonna go with Tierney here. Not only to be different, I just think he'll get a shot, and we'll see it. And then Zinchenko, obviously, we saw him come in and he played well towards the end of that game. I'd go with the same back line other than that, just because of how Arteta seems like he's trying to play this season. So I would go Saliba, White, Partey. I really don't think he changes much other than Tierney, to be honest. So Rice, Havertz, Odegaard. You can't touch Martinelli and Saka. And at the moment, aside from the finishing, you can't touch Eddie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. So really, so you're really sticking with Partey at the right back position as opposed to Ben White, which we thought for the first 2 weeks, but Ben White Partey has started. So
it's
for
not
me,
my preferred.
Yeah,
but that's what I predict from Arteta with the system he's playing.
So for me, Ramsdale and net. I'm going to go with Zinchenko at left back. Like I said, I don't know the reason why, but we got a couple of minutes, so I think Zinchenko at left back. And then I I think it's going to stay with how it is with Ben White not starting. So Gabriel, Saliba, and then Partey at right back. And I think a reason for that is because this with Partey at the right back and not in the center mid allows who I think is going to start Havertz in the middle, the same midfield of Rice, Havertz, and Odegaard, just have that creativity to move forward. And our attacking three of Martinelli on the left, Saka on the right, and Eddie up top. So I think the only change that I really see coming is at the left back position with Zinchenko coming in and Gabriel starting instead of Ben White. So I think 2 changes, but yeah, we'll see what happens Saturday home against Fulham, and we got to get 3 more points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta get 9 and 9. 9, yeah. 9 points.
That's it. Got to go 3 for 3.
Hopefully, you can have a second gold one.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. As always, come on, you Gunners.
Yeah, Gunners, yeah.
Gunners, yeah.